Hello, and welcome to Marriage Minutes at its pace. And today we are going to be discussing parents, parents who are older, not in terms of,
We're older.
but we're talking about dealing with aging parents. And so it just seems though it's just a season where a lot of our friends are losing parents or transitioning from parents parenting them to now they have to parent their parents. And so that can be a huge challenge for the household. That can be a huge adjustment to having to include someone else into how you manage your own household. And so we just wanted to reach out and kind of throw the topic out there. There's no book on parenting parents. There's no book on how to deal with aging parents, from setting up some sort of assisted living if they can't stay at home by themselves. It's a lot. And so we know that sometimes that can put a strain on a marriage when you have to now wear a different hat and step outside the marriage and manage another household.
Do you want me to say something? So we're really talking about parenting parents. And I think both of us, to some degree, have been through that process and had to and willingly helped our parents get through some different stages. But I will agree with Mark that it is difficult. I have come across a couple of books. I know that's kind of like a thing we say, but I have not been successful with reading them. But a lot of what it comes down to is the mechanics are going to be different per each scenario. But I think for us, it has been an emotional roller coaster and an emotional wrestling match, because you have to come to some point of accepting that you and your parent are in some ways reversing roles or changing roles. And I think that was hardest for me to accept the first time, not because I was upset that my mom was ill or that she needed assistance, but it was, I had seen her for so much of my years as my hero and my person to do everything, right? And now this person that I had that thought about and needed some help. And it wasn't that that was irrational or wrong. It was just something that I hadn't processed. And so it was harder the first time that we had to deal with the little glitch because I wasn't expecting it. You know, there were some signs, I guess, that we should have noticed about my mom kind of declining, but they started off being kind of in the sense of her just separating herself and isolate herself. And so we didn't really understand it. And we were so wrapped up in trying to raise Aaron. And so I didn't catch the signs. This most recent issue that we've had, and I guess we should ask her, since should we be asking her, can we speak freely about this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
This last time, I think I was more prepared because I was watching the signs.
Yes.
So, I mean, we could talk about a lot of different things, but I think that emotional piece is the hardest thing for people to contend and deal with. Like, how do you transition into that respectfully and still maintain everything that's going on in your own life, but then this new addition of almost an adoption that occurs without your, what is that?
Input?
Yeah, it just happens. You're like, oh, I'm adopting child. Oh, right. I didn't sign the papers. I didn't. And while you want to do what's best for your parents, it can be frustrating on both ends for them and for you.
And I think just speaking in terms of the emotional aspect, depending on how things are or how things are between child and parents, the emotional heartstrings that are pulled, there could be a lot of unresolved issues. And now, you're asked to step in and be the parent. And it's very difficult when there's some unresolved or some dysfunction in the relationship. And so that makes it even more difficult. I mean, there's a lot of different layers that go to parenting parents. And so, but the emotional piece is really just to ask, I would say first and foremost, just get on your knees and just have a good conversation with God and just say, okay, what am I supposed to get out of this? How am I to navigate this? I need you to help me navigate this. Because if you do it in your own strength, you'll find yourself more jacked up and more further away from where you should be, and an opportunity to really probably present some healing in your life. And so it's parenting parents is very difficult.
And I would just say that I think that you have to realize that your spouse, like along the lines of a relationship, you need to be in a good space with your spouse so that you can lean on and find the support that you need in them. I think that that has been what has been helpful for us this time around. And I should mention, when I say this time around, it's cyclic, right? So we may, if you have to put place or help place your parents in assisted living, or help them move to a different place in terms of that, or help with doctor's appointment, whatever it is, it could get to a point of we're working out, and then we're stable, right? And then things are going along, and an emergency room visit happens, or a fall happens, or they get sick or something like that. So you go through these waves. And I think that for me, what has helped me through those waves is knowing that Mark understands and that Mark has had similar experiences, and we can rest in each other, knowing that sometimes you're going to be frustrated and angry. I think sometimes I'm angry about it. You don't ever want your mom or your dad to stop being your parent, but that's the natural progression of life, that they will need and become more and more needy regardless, right? I don't care if you've got the most intact parent in the world. If they are 900, they are going to need some assistance. Yes. So that's been what's good for us, that I'll say. And then I think that's it. I don't know.
I think that's it. Yeah. I mean, we can go on. Maybe there might be a part 2 of a different part of parenting parents, but be prayerful. Stay together as a marriage unit, and ask God for guidance, because parenting parents is not easy, and it presents a lot of challenges.
But you can do it. And I think that your parents appreciate you, even if you don't always hear those thank yous, or even, and I mean, maybe they can't say it. Maybe they can't say that they appreciate you or verbalize that. But I think that God calls us to be respectful to our parents. And if you have children, you will want to lay down some good foundation for them, to show them how you might need to be treated in just a few short years. Okay, now I'm finished.
Be well and be blessed.